Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to Blue Chip Prospect. Today is the day where we are going to do a quick mid-season top 16. Please take the time to like and subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get into it right away. And at number 16, I have multiple players. As usual, I have a hard time separating a tier to stop at the precise number like 16 or something like that. And there's also some recency bias in there, but I'm gonna keep it short. I just watched 2 games from Max Westergard in the National G20, who plays with Ivar Stenberg, a top name for next year's draft, and came out of it impressed by his off-puck movement, intelligence, and dynamic skating. But I just wanted to put his name out there. I don't think he's a top 16, but it's worth the watch, especially with those names like Ivar the Viking, and Westergaard sounds like a name straight out of The Witcher or something like that. But anyways, the two real candidates for 16 are Cameron Schmidt and Radim Murtka, who couldn't be any more different. I just put a highlight video on the channel for Schmidt, and he's something to watch. He's a bit of an hybrid between Caulfield and Stankoven. He's got the speed, he's got a shot, he's as competitive as anyone in the draft. I don't think he's as purely skilled as Caulfield, because Caulfield's mix of handling, shooting, reading, and skating in his draft year was something else. But he looks like a future transition machine with tons of manipulation and east-west movement, who can also just dive in a straight line when the time calls for it. Obviously, at 5'8", it's a bit of a risk, even if he can handle the physicality more than well in a dub right now. But I also think he forces the shot a little bit too much, so I wouldn't have him in the top 10 right now like many, but he sure as hell has top 10 skills or in top 10 potential. For Murtka, it's a bit of a harder evaluation because the guy is learning North American hockey on the spot. He started the year in Czechia and had a really tough time. Then he was thrown in the WHL on a terrible team in Seattle, and he has to adapt live on the spot. It's not always easy, but he has shown that there's serious potential for Murtka on both sides of the puck. Obviously, the guy is a giant 6'6" right shot defenseman, so there's that, but he's progressing rapidly in the WHL right now. There's a significant amount of work to do on the skating and decision making, but some shift is a wall defensively out there, and he moves the puck quickly with a nice pass. And sometimes he gets beaten easily because of his foot speed and because he gets himself out of the play and miss easy passes. I think there's a lot to work with, and that in time he has top 4 two-way D on the right side type of potential. It's a bit risky because there's a lot of work to be done, but it's not like in this draft it's really deep and you'd be passing on an elite talent at number 16. And at number 15, I have Ivan Rabkin, and that might be a mistake on both sides. There's an argument that he could be way higher, and there's an argument that he could be way lower. I'm just not ready to kick him off to the second half of the draft right now. Rabkin just transferred to the USHL in Muskegon, which is a big win for him, but the guy is on his 4th team in this draft here. So there's that. The thing is that Rabkin, until this season, had incredible numbers that can be put in the same conversation as Demidov and Mishkov. But for whatever reasons, it didn't work this season. I saw him a lot of time last season and thought he was a star in the making, while this season he couldn't even put a point per game pace in the MHL. I have absolutely no clue what happened. The guy is smart, he's strong, he skates well, he can create plays, he manipulates defense just as much as he can drive the middle third and finish at the net. He has good handling skills, good vision, and always seemed to drive the offense last year. I'm betting on what I've seen before and a rebirth in Muskegon, but he's a candidate to finish in the top 10 or completely outside of the first half. And at number 14, I have Bren Coots. And Coots is one of those players that I wonder if would have cracked the top 10 if he had any support on his team. He has a very complete and detailed game. He's average in size at 6 feet, but he wins his fair share of battles for the puck. And you can see that he enters every battle with the intention of coming out with the puck. He basically plays a pro style of hockey on 200 foot while flashing some playmaking and some creativity. I think he goes for the pass maybe a little bit too much, but he's the main creator on the team. I think project probably more as a facilitator than a driver, the guy who kind of links the plays between the playmaker and the finisher, but also can finish and dig for pucks. He plays with pace, but he isn't the best skater out there, and also mishandled the puck quite a bit at full speed. But like I said before, it's not like there's many players to finish his plays, so he relies on himself to transition every puck and get every entry. Overall, I wouldn't call him an exciting prospect, but there's flashes of it for now. But a guy with a high floor that might become more. Like, I think he has every chance to become a third line center in the NHL, but there might be more because of the flashes, and I'm intrigued. And at number 13, I have Anton Frondel. And Frondel, just like Rabkin, is a bit of a mixed bag this season after an electric draft -1 season. Frondel is an average size or maybe a little bit over average center who plays heavy and has a lot of refinement defensively in his game. The issue is that if you ask me what area of his game project as above average in the NHL, I wouldn't really know what to say. Every games that I've watched were pretty quiet. Some puck retrieval with nicely executed 5 or 10 foot pass and some piece of playmaking here and there, but it's very inconsistent. Combined with his heavy stride, lack of east-west mobility, it's getting harder and harder to project a top 6 player in there. But overall, he has very good habits defensively, constant level of effort, he's strong, he has good positioning off puck and a solid shot, mixed with some good hands in traffic. Unless something changes, I don't see a rush creator or a playmaking driving center anymore, but he could be an efficient, hardworking two-way center who gets the puck to the inside to score goals and create chances by playing hard and sending short passes. But he's another one that I'm just not sure where he'll end up on my final list. And at number 12, I have Jake OBrien, and I realize that there's not many people who believe in him the way that I do, but I think that he's a good notch above everyone else on this list so far this season. You could argue that Cameron Schmidt is the better player, but Cameron is 5'8", often tunnel vision buzzsaw, while OBrien is a 6'2" high-end playmaker with an inside drive. OBrien had just an okay start of the season in my opinion, but after about a dozen games or so, OBrien came back to life and started breaking down teams again with his passing and handling, but also he found back his middle of the ice drive. I would love to see OBrien probably create more off the rush or on the move, but right now he prefers to hold onto the puck and slow the game down. He has high-end handling and no issue handling it in tight around pressure to make plays. His passing is always accurate in timing, it's accurate in weight on the puck, and it's precise, and he can do it while handling the puck around sticks and keeping the play alive. I think he's smart. I think he's skilled, he's competitive, and he gets to work along the board. He has size and plenty of room to get stronger. I might be his biggest cheerleader right now, but I think it's well deserved. And at number 11, I have Jackson Smith, a candidate to finish higher than that by the end of the season as the highs in his game becomes more prevalent. The tools in Smith's case are just off the chart. He's 6'3", he skates really well, handles the puck really well, defends the blue line really well, but he's prone to some brain cramps, mostly on the breakout and sometimes at the offensive blue line. It's clear that he has enough ability to sometimes look for better outlet passes by outskating the forechecker or deking his way around a forechecker to stretch the defense with a bomb, but sometimes the better play is the one right there in front of you, the one that's obvious, but he finds himself forcing plays and creating turnovers in his own zone. Offensively, he's putting up great numbers, but there's work. Again, sometimes forcing plays, but he's activating more and more and finding more dangerous plays as the season goes on. I'm not entirely sold defensively in his own zone compared to against the rush, as he sometimes gets attracted out of coverage pretty easily, but again, the tools are all there for him to become a two-way beast. I'm just looking for more consistent reads and better decision-making with the puck. And into the top 10, and we start this with Carter Bear. My favorite thing about Carter Bear is that he can do it all, and he will take whatever is given to him and make something out of it. You give him space on the wall, he will find a way to thread the puck into the slot. You challenge him for a race on a puck retrieval, you better bring your A game because he will for sure bring his A game. You give him north, he's taking north. You give him west, he's taking west. But something will happen. And if somehow it doesn't and the puck goes the other way, he will hunt you down, kill the play, and make you pay with a big hit. Offensively, I wouldn't say he's the best at anything, but he's just so good at everything that he's just unstoppable. He doesn't have to force play to play within his strength. Everything is a strength. There's no glaring weakness in his game on the entire sheet of ice. The skating needs work. He looks a little bit like Zach Benson, the way he moves on the ice, but it's a little weird, but he gets around well enough. Overall, I don't think he has the type of sense and talent to be a first-line driver in the NHL, but clearly a top 6 role in the NHL is in the cards. And at number 9, I have Lyndon Lovic, and I'm not sure yet if he deserves the top 10 selection, but every time that I've watched him, I really liked him. He always stood out in a big way for me. The guy is 6'4", he plays like he's 5'9", but he's so consistently dangerous and unpredictable. He can skate really well for a guy of his size, both in speed and maneuverability. He has really good hands in tight, and he's also a fantastic one-touch shooter and one-touch passer. He has vision for days and the puck skills to make high-end plays consistently. He's really good in transition, and he's a fantastic off-the-puck option. He's always open and seems to catch every single puck, contested or not, and he has the hands to move it out of the stick checks within the reception of the puck. He's really not all that physical and isn't the most inside and traffic driven, but he uses a lot of misdirection and cutbacks to thread the pucks to the inside. There's not a team that won't salivate at the idea of a player like him if he can add a puck protection or a drop the shoulder facet to his game. But the combination of his size, soft skills, hockey sense, on and off the puck, and his shot and also his skating are probably enough to make him a top 10 selection when draft day comes. I'd be surprised if he wasn't in my top 10, that's for sure. And at number 8, I have Victor Ekman. I debated between Lakovic and Ekman here, but recency bias kind of won me over. He was really good at the latest World Junior, and he was basically the same player as he is in the Allsvenskan. He's not the most dynamic and isn't the best at anything, but he gets into every play with the mindset that he will just outwork everyone. Whether it's a battle along the board or on the cycle or trying to get the inside position around the net, he will just fight fearlessly. And he does the same in Sweden. He's a very strong skater, and he uses it to jump into space and dive to the net after dishing the puck to a player on entry. He has some playmaking, but a lot of his offense comes through give and goes and sending the puck to an open player to immediately reposition him somewhere around the net. It's simple enough, but translates well to the NHL. If you gave that level of fight to Lakovic, the guy would be a top 5 pick all day. The way I would put it is that every time I've watched Ekman, I liked what I saw, but I'm not sure I ever loved what I saw. He has all the fight in the world. He has good offensive instinct, but he seems more limited than his brother, or maybe just less diversified than his brother is a better word. Nonetheless, a good player with low amount of risk, but just not an impressive player in my opinion. I'm not as convinced as I once was, but I'm keeping Carbonneau at number 7. There's definitely some non-translatable part to his game. He's obviously stronger and faster and more skilled than most players in the queue, and he takes advantage of that to win battles, blow past defenders, and overhandle the puck when a simpler and more dangerous play was right there in front of him. Also, he seems like a case of skills over hockey sense. Not that he doesn't have any hockey sense and never chooses the right play, but more in the sense that he has a tendency to use his God-given gift over his teammates, but skills like that don't come every day. Everything looks so effortless to him. He's a powerful skater, a high-end handler who can shoot and pass the puck really, really well in motion and through a deke. There's just not much his skills doesn't allow him to do, and he also competes. He's not a Carter Bear. He's a bit inconsistent in his work rate, but when he's on, he's taking over the game and he will use all his tricks to get the job done. In my opinion, what's missing from his game and most of the issue, like trying to do too much and not involving his line mate consistently to move the puck closer to the net, are all teachable skills, while what he naturally has isn't teachable at all. I don't think anybody is taking him at 7. I'm not crazy, but this is my list, so I do what I want, and I just love the high-end combination of skills. Under the right coaching, I think he could be a steal if he's taken in the second half of the first round or later in the draft. And at number 6, I most likely temporarily have Roger McQueen. At the moment of recording this, he's supposed to be coming back in 2 or 3 weeks from now, so we'll see how it goes from there. But because he didn't play since October, and because I didn't necessarily love this game in October, he's outside the top 5. The thing with McQueen is that the potential is through the roof. He's a 6'5" center with high-end handling skills, good vision, and he skates well. The execution of all this put together is often the issue, though. He looks like he has every individual skills to be a high-end playmaker, but when he links everything together, something usually falls off. So that's something I'll be looking for when he comes back, or if he comes back and gets to his cruising speed. But if he can find the toolbox for all of his tools, plus his willingness to cut to the inside, create chaos in the slot, finish his check on a forecheck, bully his way to the net with the puck, he will be a very, very attractive player comes draft day. He has the package and skills of a top 3 pick in my opinion, but he needs to play and he needs to put it all together for it to materialize. And at number 5, and the player who's taken McQueen's spot, is Caleb Desnoyers. While Desnoyers isn't an exciting player by any stretch of the imagination, he plays hockey like hockey is played on Stanley Cup winning teams. He's a workhorse
who plays an excellent game on 200 feet and who has the skills to play through contacts. He's not a fancy handler or manipulator. He's not a fancy skater with not many changes in speed or direction to create separation and hesitation. You could argue that he doesn't have a single dynamic element to his game, but he's a gamer. He gets puck into the slot with hard and precise passes. He advances the play closer to the net by using line mates. He finishes plays at the net. He plays defense with the same intensity as he plays offense. He's relentless with a nonstop motor. He forechecks hard. He does all the things to be a coach favorite, plus he's got some offense. I don't think he's a 70-point plus player or something like that in the NHL. He doesn't really have the instinct for that, in my opinion, but I can see him becoming some kind of Ryan O'Reilly or a Sean Couturier light type of player or something around that in the NHL. A consistent 50-plus point player with tremendous value of the puck and a leader in the locker room. And at number 4, I have Porter Marton. And isn't it crazy that when I made my full scouting report on him, I said he would be battling with Schaer for the number 1 spot, and now I have him number 4. The top 4 is very volatile right now. It's a little bit like crypto. I think there's a significant chance that Marton is the best player in this draft. He does special things with the puck that no one else even comes close to in this draft, in my opinion. His hockey sense, his vision, his anticipation are all elite or very close to, but his game just overall lacks speed. Not that he isn't a capable skater, just that he's a bit over-reliant on slowing the game down to make plays, and the NHL is a fast-paced league. I think he has it in him to play at a faster pace, and I don't think it would impact his game one bit because he's so special with the puck on his stick, but it's something that needs to happen. So while the 3 players in front of him can do what Marton can do, they all play at a much faster pace. So don't be surprised if he's higher in the final ranking. I think he's a very special player in a 6'3" frame and a developing power game, but for now, number 4 is where he belongs. And at number 3, I have James Higgins. Higgins is a fantastic playmaker, and compared to Marton, like I was saying, he can do everything at full speed. He's very manipulative and can handle the puck in tight around pressure and dish accurate passes through seam like it's nothing. I think his playmaking has been more consistent and diversified compared to Marton this season, but the highs, they just aren't as high. He's also a speedster and a very agile skater, but he's on the smaller side. His strength has been a little bit of an issue in the NCAA this season, especially with battles along the board or in puck protection, but that should solve itself out with a little bit of time in the gym. I think the consistency at which he can make high-end plays at full speed is one of the reasons why he probably has a 50-50 chance to go first overall in the next draft, but I would like a little bit more from him. You know, like Logan Cooley's production in his draft year wasn't all that impressive. Higgins had a vastly superior season in his draft -1 than Cooley had in his draft year, but Cooley had that little something special. He was the hardest working player on the ice every night, always looking to push the pace. His attacking mentality was relentless. I don't see that with Higgins. He's got the speed, the hockey sense, the puck skills, but sometimes I feel like there's just something missing that I can't quite put my finger on. And at number 2, I have Michael Misa, and Misa might not be as creative or manipulative as Higgins. Honestly, I don't even think it's close, but his engagement and his competitiveness more than make up for it. Misa is first on almost every puck. He initiates contact, wins battles for pucks and positioning, drives the middle third of the ice, he tracks backs on defense, and he does everything at full speed. And Misa is one of the most dynamic skater in the draft, so his full speed is not a school zone speed, it's definitely autobahn speed. Misa is also 6'1". He's strong, he's fast, he's smart, he's direct, he's a competitor. You add that to the level of puck skills that he has, and that's one hell of a player. There are instances where he should play with his speed a little bit more to create differentials and open gaps in the defense, and I'm sure that will be taught to him, but there's really not that much to improve upon. He hits players in the open space, push defense back by driving the net, find space without the puck, can finish in tight or from distance. There's really not many things that he can't do. He's more the type of player to use open teammates to advance the play rather than creating space by manipulating the defense. And I would say that his hockey IQ is probably not as high as Marton or Higgins, even if he anticipates player movement and identify openings and plays quickly, but he's got other things going for him. And finally, at number 1, I have Matthew Schaer. Schaer is definitely a work in progress. A lot of his defense and even offense is very clunky at times, but a lot of the number 1 spot thing is based on projection from the fact that the guy is a September birthday. And Not a September birthday like Malcolm Spence, who was born September 22nd, 2006. No, he's a September birthday like if September 5th, 2007. He's basically a full year younger than players like Spence, McQueen, Marton, Ekman, Bear, Higgins. So the runway is basically unlimited. If you compare to a guy like Lev Shuna from last year, the physical package was basically what you see is what you get. He was already big and heavy and strong. The improvement could only come from like refinements with coaching and experience. Schaer is already a better defenseman than Lev Shunov, in my opinion, and he's not big, he's not strong and heavy. He's just tall and lanky. Once he gets his big boy strength and coordination, it'll be a completely different story, in my opinion. I'm still not sure if I'll have Schaer first in my final ranking, but a team that is looking to grow their transition game and get a potential number one defenseman, especially since there is no Celebrini or Bedard in this draft, he seems like the right pick and actually the hardest piece to find in a rebuild. The mix of length, smarts, skating, offense, defense makes him a very special player. We don't get defensemen that has elite potential in every sphere of the game every year. Like Dickinson last year doesn't have the smart and distribution skills of Schaer, just like Bouillon doesn't have the athleticism and defense. Reinbacher and Smashov the year before are not even close in potential as two-way defensemen. Maybe they end up better defensively. That's not that much of a stretch, but they're not even close in transition and offensive potential, right? You can go like that all the way down to 2018 with Rasmus Dahlin, who had elite potential in every facet of the game. I think it's not crazy to think that Schaer could be that type of player. I'm not there yet. I also preferred Dahlin in his draft year and also his draft -1 year, but I think the potential for a Dahlin type of player is really there. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Please take the time to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.